Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Bwaaa trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to
Bwaaa.
King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
Rusty, we have reached the end of the season 4 line.
If the last episode was the penultimate, this would be the ultimate.
Yes. Ultimate or final, I guess.
Final,
I don't
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is the last one. This is a shitty Peggy episode.
It is a heavy, shitty Peggy episode. Yes.
Yeah.
This episode is fine. I'm not a giant fan of it, just simply because of all the different stars. I think it's
a very celebrity heavy episode.
It is,
sure.
and I think maybe when I saw it, it was kind of cool, but then it paints some of these folks in some really bad light, honestly.
Yeah. And not only that, for
Charlie
some,
Daniels, Randy
Charlie
Travis.
Daniels,
I mean,
yeah.
they're
And for some of y'all, before we started, Mason had said, "Could you really call country musicians celebrities?" At that time frame, it was the number one genre in the country.
I still think you can.
And they were touring globally, some of
Sure.
these country singers. My mom lived in England, and she saw Randy Travis in concert in the 80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who was the guy that played the fiddle? Not Charlie Daniels. There was another. I don't know. Anyway, saw him here in town one time, and I don't know. Can't remember what his name is.
Pat Green.
No. This was somebody bigger. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
He's very local.
He is very local. He did well for a while, but I remember he used to play the fair all the time.
Yeah,
you know,
did a lot of fair stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of fair shows, and then he has that song about George's, the bar here in town.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, it's about Big O's and George's. And
I
stuff
didn't
like
know that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that made him super popular here in town.
I
Okay,
think they're highly overrated.
yeah, I agree. Please sponsor us, George's. You're wonderful. Season 4, episode.
I do like those bacon chicken. What is it?
They call them white wings, I think, don't they? Or they call them armadillo eggs or
bear
something.
balls or
something. It's always
called.
something like that. There's 46 places that have those, and they all call them something different. Okay, so season 4, episode 23, Peggy's Fanfare.
Peggy's Fanfare.
This is all about country music.
Yep, pretty much the
thing.
entire episode, yeah.
And again, we're at the end of a season.
The very end of the season.
Yeah.
This is the end of season 4, so thanks everybody for that stuck with us
Oh, yeah.
all the way to the final season.
No kidding. I can't believe y'all are still in the house. You need to get your stuff together. Okay, so with this one, we assume there's going to be a bell and a yell.
Yep.
And there is, but first we get a scene before the opening credits.
Yeah, there's a scene before the credits.
So Hank's in the garage. He seems very bored. He's got 2 measuring tapes up, and he's checking the action on them as to whether they'll go back or not.
Yeah.
One of them doesn't. He looks very sad and tosses it into the Goodwill box. Peggy comes running in as her usual self. It's all about her. She comes in with a letter in her hand. She goes, "I've done it, Hank. I've finally done it. I've gotten someone to respond to my letter." Hank says, "You see, Peggy, you just need to find a pen pal with as much free time as you have." She goes, No. I sent song lyrics to every major country music star, and I finally got this from Mr. Randy Travis."
Oh, wow.
Hank's like, "Oh, Randy Travis." She says, "Okay, all right. Dear songwriter, we regret to inform you, blah, blah, blah. Legal reasons, blah, blah, blah. Never read it, blah, blah, blah. Once again, good luck with your songwriting career."
Yeah.
Signed, Rob Readers of the law firm Readers and Anatol. Hank says, kind of sounds like to me that Randy Travis's lawyer sent you a rejection letter.
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, Hank, they have to say that. Travis loved my lyrics. He called me a songwriter. He said I could have a career in front of me. And you know what? He's right." Then we go straight into the credits, and we get a super big yell and a super big yell. You got it, man.
Yeah, really, really big one.
It is a big one. I love that we found that little Easter egg.
Yeah.
You know, that has.
I always thought
never paid attention to it.
Whenever we started this out, I expected way more bells and yells because I just, in my mind, when I think of the King of the Hill theme song, I think of a bell and a yell. And it turns out that it really was not
really
as much as you thought it was.
It's the Mandela effect. Meaning I thought Mandela was in the opening credits. Okay, now we're at the Arlen Methodist Church. The pastor is up speaking to the congregation. He says, "We've had so many great suggestions for our church bus trip this year. We've decided to go to Country Music Fair or Fanfare in Nashville, Tennessee." Peggy jumps up. She's super excited. She's like, "I win. That was my suggestion."
That's terrible.
You're
at church. Yeah, you're at church, Peggy.
Well,
Simmer down, Peggy.
Not only that, she runs up to the pulpit. She takes over the mic, pushes the pastor behind her, and goes, "Thank you, Assistant Pastor Rayburn. For those of you who don't know, I am Peggy Hill, and Fanfare is a 4-day festival, 4 days, where we will get to meet our
That's
favorite."
a revival, not a festival.
That is a lot. Where we get to meet our favorite country music stars, including my friend Randy Travis. Everybody's eyes just kind of look at each other. They're just kind of like, "Oh, shit, here comes Peggy."
Yeah.
She says, "Okay, may God look upon you with kindness and give you peace. Amen. You are now dismissed." That is not her job. It is not her job to do the final prayer.
No,
it's
not
not
at
her
all.
job to dismiss anybody. But in true Peggy fashion, she doesn't care.
Isn't that called the benediction?
I believe so.
The final prayer.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will tell us we're wrong.
Yeah.
Later, we're in front of a bus at the church. So I'm assuming it's the next day. It couldn't be the same day. And they're about to pull out for the 4-day Fan Fest Freedom fuck at I don't know. And Bobby and Connie are standing there in front of the bus. Bobby's like, "Connie, I'm going to miss you so much." Connie says, "I got you this phone card at the mall. It's good for 10 minutes, and it has Tony Danza's picture on it."
Yeah.
I love that. He goes, "Connie, my girl, Buddha broke the mold."
Was he on, like, calling cards back then or something?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think there were celebrities pushing calling cards.
Yeah.
You know, you could always buy the ones to Mexico almost anywhere.
Isn't that odd though? A calling card, just the concept of a calling card is just
They're
so
still
weird.
around.
They're still
around. Yeah, like if you need to call internationally or something, yeah, you can get an international
get you
calling
cheaper
card.
rates if you buy the card.
It doesn't,
I got
but
you.
yeah, sure.
It doesn't.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, I don't understand why we still use area codes. You know,
At this point, I'm not understand why we still use like regular cellular like call on the phone because there's so many, like most phone conversations I have are done through Facebook. Honestly,
yeah. I want to be the guy who has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Yeah.
0 or
Zero,
something.
yeah.
Just get rid of area codes and just give me a number. Just like in the Bible, the beast gives you one, so that's good. So he says, "Connie, my girl, Buddha broke the mold when he made you." And then they kiss, and it's like not a half-ass kiss.
No,
this
it's not.
This is tongue down the throat kind of kiss from Bobby.
Very wild kiss, Bobby.
I'm sure the tongue tastes a lot like liver. Then you hear Peggy in the back. She's got her little visor on, her what do you call them, jorts?
Jorts
or culottes or
Culottes,
whatever. Yeah, she's running this show, and she goes, "Okay, people, 2-minute warning. Please see me for your seat assignments before you get on the bus." Pastor comes up and he says, "Listen, I was planning to let people sit wherever they wanted, you know, kind of like church."
Like church, yeah.
She goes, "Oh, church is not a field trip. As a substitute educator, I know field trips, and as a country songwriter, I also know Nashville." Whatever.
Yeah.
The pastor says, "Peggy, I'm the assistant pastor of the congregation, and I did go to divinity school in Nashville where I wrote a hymn or two. She says, yes, but you did not get a letter from Randy Travis, and I did. And then she goes, and does a big whistle and says, on the bus. I could not be around a real Peggy for very long.
I couldn't do a real Peggy for very long either.
I've known some of them, and I can't.
Well, if there's 6 people in a room and you can't find out which one is the Peggy, would it be me?
It's a thumb pointing back at
Would
you.
it be
Yeah,
me?
that's right. That's
No, I'm
it.
just
You
kidding.
got it. I'm the Peggy. Okay, so now we're on the bus. Peggy is at the front on the, what do you call that? Is it an intercom? Is it a CB? What is
A
it?
PA.
It's a PA.
Like a
Yeah,
PA system.
Yeah, I guess so.
A public
Yeah.
public announcement system?
Public
Is that what a
announcement.
PA
Yeah, and it's
is?
in the,
Personal announcement?
public address system.
Peggy's
I think is what it is.
addressing
Peggy address system.
Yeah.
Paschetti. She goes, good morning, fanfarers and fanfarees. I'll be calling out various highlights of our 14-hour trip to Nashville.
Wow.
Our first stop will be the world's largest fiberglass raven, which is also the largest raven I have ever seen. Well, no shit, Peggy. You don't get a bunch of
That's
14-foot
ridiculous.
ravens coming to your yard.
That line, the world's largest. Well, it's the largest raven I've ever seen. Well, it's the world's largest, Peggy.
That's right, Peggy,
Come
you
on.
dumbass. All right, later we're on the bus, and I love this, that all 4 guys are sitting on one row, and they're all drinking beer out of
A
cowboy
paper bag,
coolers.
yeah.
And on a church trip.
On
no
a church
less.
trip, yeah.
You hear Peggy, she's still up there. Congratulations, Eustace Miller, who came close with a guess of 61. The number I was thinking of was 64. Eustace goes, yes. And then you hear Dale say, Hank, is she going to play camp counselor through the entire state of Arkansas? Hank, of course, loves his wife. Oh, come on, Dale. She's just having fun. Think of another number, Peggy. And now we're at the big raven statue. So we finally made it to the largest fiberglass raven.
Yeah.
Bobby is over on a payphone. He's calling to talk to Connie, and Con answers. He's got a freaking headset on, like he's working a call center or something.
Yeah.
And he says, hello, Mr. Sousa News and Phone. Is Connie there? He goes, and you can literally see Connie out the window. He's sitting in his chair. He kind of looks over, and he goes, Connie, she's not here. Bobby says, where is she? Connie want to go swimming all afternoon with Chain Wasana Song. That her business. Enjoy your hillbilly festival. And just hangs
Messing
up
with
on her.
him, yeah, messing with
Hangs
him.
up on him. And then you hear Tony Danza from the calling card say, hey, this is Tony Danza. You've got 8 minutes left.
And that's his cameo. It was just his voice, yeah.
He actually did the voice, right? That's
Yeah, he actually
amazing
did the
to
voice.
me. That's amazing to me.
They actually got him in to do the voice, but he probably was super
Just for the calling
expensive.
card.
I imagine at that time frame, he was probably really expensive, so all they could probably get with that was a couple of minutes.
Was that maybe I was going to say is at the tail end of Who's the Boss, but I think it was probably already over.
Yeah,
at
I think that
point.
was already over.
Yeah. All right, so now we see the bus pulling into the Tennessee State Fair. Peggy, of course, taking every opportunity to make herself important, says, on behalf of Fanfare, let me be the first to welcome you with a little song written by Peggy Hill. Fanfare can be fun, fair. If you don't want your way to turn in line, that's unfair. Thank you. I mean, she just launches into this
Yeah, this
dumbass
weird
song
song.
she's written. Everybody on the bus turns and looks at Hank. Now we're at the campsite. So this is odd to me. I guess it's kind of like a Woodstock or a Bonnaroo or something like that, where they have to set up their own tents and stay at a campsite rather than like stay in a cabin or something. Yeah. It's probably cheaper. Peggy is she is standing beside a big pot with her apron on and a giant wooden spoon. And of course she says, dinner's ready. I hope you brought your appetites. We're having spaghetti and meatballs. Dumb name. The Reverend comes up and he's talking to Hank. He says, did she say Spa Peggy? Hank says, well, Spa Peggy is a lot like spaghetti. I'm not sure what Peggy does different, but if anything, it's the one dish she's kind of made her own. Okay.
How do you make spaghetti your own?
He just called it another name, apparently. Well, we find out the secret recipe.
Mike
here at the
Skitty.
end. Yeah, it's Mike Skitty. Yeah.
Big old bowl of Mike's Kitty.
When you eat it, it comes through your nose. Now we're at Fanfare. We see the big welcome banner, and we're in the exhibit hall. There's a big old line waiting to meet Brooks and Dunn. Do you remember Brooks and Dunn?
I do remember Brooks and Dunn.
Boot Scoot Boogie.
Neon Moon.
Oh, is that them?
Yeah.
No, is it?
Yeah, it's
oh
Pixie
yeah,
Dunn.
I guess you're right. Yeah,
Dancing
okay.
under the light
Boy, that was a big
of a
one.
neon
That was a
moon.
big old dance.
There's
song
not a
right
bar
there.
you can go into that's
No.
still honky tonk right now, and it's still played.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those songs that about 10:30, 11 o'clock, once the beers are starting to hit everybody, they get to dancing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so at the front of the line is Luann and Bobby. They're standing there, and I don't know if it's Brooks or Dunn talking to him. Said, well, hey there, cowboy. Now, who's this pretty gal? Your wife? They kind of laugh, and Luann says, we're not married. We're just sharing a tent. And we're cousins. Bobby says, can you just sign our books? We'll be on our way. And I think it's Kicks Dunn. I don't know. Well, it's Kicks and somebody else. Roger? I don't know what their names are. Kicks and Roger.
It's Kicks, Brooks, and Ronnie Dunn.
Kicks and Ronnie in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Kicks, Brooks, and Ronnie Dunn.
you can tell that Bobby's just he's real depressed, and he's just sign our books. We'll be on our way. He goes, whoa, what's the trouble, Bubble? Which, if anybody said that to me, I think I'd spit in their face.
Yeah.
Bobby
What's
goes,
the trouble, Bubble? Yeah.
Bobby goes, ugh, I think my girlfriend left me. Oh, says either Brooks or Dunn. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be just a little while. We got a situation here. Later, this is crazy to me that they shut down the entire freaking line that's been waiting probably hours to see them just to talk to Bobby.
Just to talk to Bobby, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're shutting it down. This young gentleman here.
Shut it down. We got a matter of the heart.
Yeah.
So he says, so every time you called, Mr. Superphone tells you that Connie's out with this chain fella.
It's Kicks talking.
Superphone.
Yeah.
Bobby says, he said for the first time in her life, Connie's actually happy. I don't remember him saying that.
I don't remember saying that either.
He goes, sounds like her daddy's using chain to yank your chain. And then Ronnie, at
Kicks
this
is
point,
right.
says, Kicks is right. Heck, I got a teenage daughter at home. Every time her boyfriend calls, I say she's out with Brad Pitt. And Luann.
I love Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Always understanding the situation. Yeah, she's I love Brad Pitt. Your daughter is so lucky. It takes Bobby to be the voice of reason and say, no, Luann, don't you get it? Connie and I are back together. And so he's super excited at this point, right?
Yeah. Which is just, he should know better anyway. He should know that it's.
Yeah, that
it's
was
a
really
ploy.
weird to me that he would believe Mr. Superphone.
Yeah. He knows that she's not hanging out with Shane.
No, he knows that. So now we've got a big old line for Randy Travis, and this is like, you go to a Comic-Con or something like that. So you stand in line to get the guy who played Darth Vader's shadow to sign something for you. Hank walks up to the line and gets in the line, and he turns around and goes, look, it's really him. It's Randy Travis, just like on the album cover. Just like on the album cover. Peggy says, oh, take a picture of me, give me my lyrics. Someday my fans will want to remember this moment. Shut up, Peggy. Randy Travis is kind of singing. You hear that, and she goes, oh, wait. And then you hear, oh, if you want to be my lady. She goes, oh. And Hank says, I'll take my sandwich now. She goes, shh, just shutting him up. And then you hear Randy Travis saying, what you see is what you'll always be. It's just good, mate. And then she says, she is super taken back. She's like, oh, my God.
Yeah, she's not happy right now.
She walks up, says, you stole my song, and punches Randy Travis square in the face, which I thought, charges. You're going to be brought up on charges if this is a normal world.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely going to get charges.
You're going to be brought up on charges. You're probably going to be forcibly removed, which we see later that she is kind of being removed. But then, anyway. And as soon as she punches him, he falls down, and that is the first commercial break. We'll take that, and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back with Randy Travis on the floor. Peggy is now being removed by two of the security guys, and she's saying, no, you don't understand. I'm not the bad guy. Hank, will you say something? And these guys are putting her out the exit, and he's like saying, why did you punch Randy Travis? She goes, this is the way God made me. I wrote that. And then they're trying to push her out the exit, and then this lady in a cowboy hat walks up and says, excuse me, fellas, hold up a second. I'm Mr. Travis's manager. Randy would like to speak to the lady. Well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good sign.
The only thing is, like,
especially after punching somebody in the face, yeah.
She punched him square in the face. And
right
he
in
is
the middle.
A celebrity.
Yeah, he smacked him right dab in the middle.
You'd be in jail. Okay. So now we're in Randy Travis's trailer, and by the way, his trailer has a giant picture of him on it.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
Most of them are
cheesing
like
up on the
that,
thing, Randy Travis is sitting in one chair. There on the other side, Randy's got a big old cold compress on his face because his face hurts where she punched him.
Got popped.
Because I bet Peggy can pack a punch with that.
She's got that pitching arm. Yeah, she's
yeah.
got that pitching arm. She's gonna be able to punch.
Yeah. Hank says, and we completely understand if you don't want to give us an autograph. She goes, I have proof of your thievery. You said I had a promising songwriting career. Now how do you plead? Randy Travis says, I don't plead anything, ma'am. I never saw your song. This is a form letter from my guard dog lawyers. If I had a dime for every song a fan sent me, I'd be Dolly Parton rich. Hank says, well, that explains it. Thank you. And he's just ready to get the F out of there.
Which one of the things that made Dolly Parton probably richer than rich was whenever she sold the rights to Whitney Houston.
Yeah, that's true.
Whenever she sold the rights to that song, Whitney Houston, she made more money than she ever made before after that, and just that song's rights.
We were at I admire Dolly Parton because one of the things she does is this imagination library thing. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I'm actually attached to it.
That's fantastic.
My youngest, I get books for him through it.
Yeah.
And I've talked to the people here in town before. So yeah, it's a really cool organization.
It's a great organization.
And
it really is.
it's all Dolly Parton funded.
It
is
is.
what's cool about it is she sends books to kids every month for 6 years.
It's crazy.
The early 6 years of their life.
Yeah.
To try to bring back reading, because I don't know if
Literacy.
y'all know anybody that's not very literate, but it's very common in the world for people to be underread in books, and you could tell who's underread and not by just speaking to people. And
I think I've told you before.
Books, we need more book reading.
When I was teaching, I'd have freaking seniors that couldn't necessarily read, or they were reading at like a fourth grade level.
I graduated with high school with kids that could barely read or write. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, my wife and I were at Sam's yesterday, and we were looking for, it's kind of like Costco for those of you who don't know Sam's. But we were looking for books and stuff for the kids because Christmas is coming up.
Yeah.
And big old Dolly Parton book. I swear to God, this thing was huge.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like 2 foot by 3 foot or something, But it was just full of pictures and her whole story and stuff. I just thought it was the coolest book.
It is cool.
If I could fit it in my door, I would bring it home. Again, Hank is ready to get the hell out of there. So he stands up and he goes, well, that explains it. Thank you. And Peggy's like, no, not to me. It does not. And Hank just sits back down because he knows what's coming.
Yep.
Randy Travis says, you think this is the first time 2 songwriters came up with similar lyrics? Stand by your man, Tammy Wynette. Understand your man, Johnny Cash. Do you see a pattern there? Peggy says, yes, but this is just the way God made me is uniquely Peggy Hill. You see, I grew up in Montana, and I had very big feet. I still do. And when other kids would make fun of me, my grandma told me to tell them, this is just the way God made me. And today, I am able to pass that wisdom on to my students. You see, I am a boggle champion and a substitute teacher. Number one, Peggy, you're not the only freaking person that anybody's ever said, this is just the way God made me.
Nah.
Your grandmother was not full of wisdom because she said that.
Nah, pretty much. That's probably, honestly, that's probably been a selling point.
You can buy that
for Christianity for a long time.
You can buy that on a pillow. You can buy, that shit, that's everywhere.
The one that gets me is the footsteps one.
The one where it's like there were only one set of footsteps.
Yeah, I was walking in the sand and I saw 2 footsteps, and then I stopped and I thought he left me, and I looked back and there was only one set of footsteps because he was carrying me.
That's right. Yeah,
big strong man.
Yeah, it's a big one. The thing I don't understand is this is just the way God made me. But that's not true for Christians. No. They don't think, well, that's just the way God made this guy. We'll just accept him.
I really like that. One of my favorite songs or whatever was, what if God was one of us?
Who was that?
I don't even remember. Was it a country singer?
No, it was.
I got to look it up now.
Shit. I want to say Tracy Chapman, but that's
you're
wrong.
Probably
that's wrong.
No, that is wrong, yeah. Let's see. What if God was...
It was what's-her-face that did Ironic, right?
I think so.
Whatever her name is.
What if God was one of... Oh, Joan Osborne.
Joan Osborne. Okay, I did not think that at all. That's a good song, though.
And it was also the theme song to Joan of Arcadia.
Oh, yeah.
The TV show.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, she says, I'm a boggle champion and substitute teacher because she's always got to move that in somehow. Randy Travis says, good for you. Teaching is important. Hank, what do you do for a living? He goes, well, I sell propane and propane accessories. And Randy Travis says, propane salesman. Now, that's something that would make a pretty good song. And Hank immediately pipes up and goes, I've been saying that for years. And Randy and him are just getting along now because Randy's like, oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
And Peggy is pissed. You can see it on her face.
Yeah, she's not happy.
Super pissed. Okay, now we're back at the campground. And Lou Ann and Bobby are sitting at a picnic table. She goes, Bobby, I put 2 of your mom's apple brown Betties. I put out 2 of your mom's apple brown Betties. Now, I'm no math magician, yeah.
But
there's
that
only
reminds me of Trailer Park Boys. He's how he always just says random stuff. Rocket appliances for rocket science, or for water under the bridge. He says water under the fridge. Yeah.
She says, I'm no math magician, but there's only one here now. Did you eat the other one? Bobby, number one, he's already getting Oreos out of a package. I was just talking to her, and he goes, I can see how you might jump to that conclusion given last night's cupcake incident. And, yes, I did take the Apple Brown Betty, but it's for Brooks and Dunn to thank them for easing my pain. Then we hear Peggy screaming dinner again. All are kind of gathered at the picnic tables. The reverend or the pastor comes up. I don't know what to call him. What do you call a Methodist? Is it a pastor, a reverend? It's a pastor, I would assume, right? Because they're Methodist.
Yeah, pastor. I believe it'd be like a pastor, because that's all post-Lutheran break-off stuff. So I think they had because they were going away from priests and like trying to break off from all that Catholicism.
Away from the reverend part
so I think,
right?
yeah. Well, no, that's the thing is reverend I think is used in Baptists too, because always on
ours was always preacher. It was just always preacher.
I've
preacher
had
or pastor.
Depending on what church I've been to, it's been preacher, pastor, or reverend, but never like priest or anything like that. Jeff,
the guy who says words,
or brother. There was a lot of brother.
There was a lot of brother. Brother and
the
sister.
pastor that I had specifically that I'm non-religious now, but when I was, he was a guy that made an impact on my life, not even religiously, just in general, made an impact on my life. Yep. And his name was Brother Terri. And I never called him Terry. I never called him Pastor Terry. It was always
Brother Terri.
Brother Terri. Yeah,
it's weird. So the Reverend comes up. They're about to eat. He goes, Lord, thank you for the food we're about to eat. And a quick moving line at the Sawyer Brown booth for the Calm Skies. You remember Sawyer Brown?
The Sawyer Brown Band?
Yeah.
Are they the ones that did the Fishing in the Dark? No, that's the Nitty Gritty Band.
I don't remember what they did.
I remember, but I don't remember
they were
the
big
songs.
Like late 80s, early 90s.
I remember the name, yeah.
And then, of course, he says, thank you for the fast-moving line. Thank you for the calm skies. And, of course, Peggy has to butt in to even the prayer and says, and please, God, punish Randy Travis for stealing my song. Amen. That's about as crappy as you can get right there.
It is pretty crappy. She's very self-centered and narcissistic, and this is one of the better episodes for that, like her display of narcissism. This is definitely the best episode for it.
She's super gross in this one.
Honestly, I think this is probably out of all of the shitty Pegasus, out of all the shitty Pegasodes, there you go. Out of all the shitty Pegasodes, this has to be by far the worst of the worst yet.
This is the worst she's acted so far. Yeah. Even more so than trying to watch the baby, after breaking your back.
This might even be worse than feeding your kids cigarettes.
That's true. It could be.
I don't know.
That's pretty bad.
It is. It is, though. I think it is worse because at that time frame, that was a method of punishment. Was smoke your kids out if they got caught smoking cigarettes.
My parents stopped and bought beer and made me drink it in front of them just so I would hate the taste.
And then you became an alcoholic.
Guess what? That started my alcoholism.
Yes, I'm saying.
Loved it.
I never got caught smoking cigarettes, but when my dad found my pack of cigarettes, he just told me, "Hey, I can't tell you not to smoke them because I do. Just don't do it in front of your mom."
Sure.
That was my deal.
That's pretty much what my dad said. Yeah.
Tossed me the pack of cigarettes and was like, "Just don't do it in front of your mom or your younger siblings." And I was like, "Oh, okay, all right."
Yeah. It sucks because it's an okay, but as a parent, what do you do?
Yeah, what do you
do? You say, do not do it. They're going to go for it
they're
faster.
They're going to do it worse.
You say, do it in front of me. That's shitty parenting. You
say,
say, don't
what do
do
you
it
do
in front of your mom. That's keeping I don't know.
Just don't give them barbiturates when they have colic.
Try not to.
I was listening to Matthew Perry's book. And he had colic as a baby really bad. He was 30 days old when he took his first barbiturate.
Yikes.
Because in the 60s, if you were a whiny crybaby, they would give you phenobarbital. The doctors would. So I was reading. I was listening to that. Yeah.
So now we're on the stage at the Fanfare Freedom Fest or whatever it's called, and Clint Black is on the stage.
Clint Black. Yeah,
Clint
that's one of
Black.
them big names.
He says, and Miss Faith Hill strained her vocal cords cheering on the team at the celebrity softball game. Her team still lost thanks to a costly error by Garth Brooks, who is not in this episode.
He is not.
All the people groan, and he goes, as pretty as Faith is, we got somebody almost as pretty, Mr. Randy Travis. And the audience just cheers and cheers. Randy Travis.
That's one of the sadder, like, country singers that's gotten, like, the aging, because all these guys are now in their
Clint
60s,
Black
70s.
or Randy Travis?
Nah, Randy Travis.
Yeah.
He had
Lost his
really
voice
bad
and the
strokes
whole
and
thing,
stuff,
yeah.
and he lost his voice. So he can't, like, he's starting to – he's doing music and stuff still, and he's trying to get back to where he was at. But anytime they, it was, I can't remember where it was at. I think it was like Kane Brown or something was on a radio show or behind the scenes, and they had somebody filming it. But he was singing one of Randy Travis's songs, and Randy Travis came out, and it was the song "Forever and Ever Amen," where he does that "Amen" at the end when he does that long "Amen," and that was he managed to sing that, and it sounded like the old Randy Travis, but. I actually have a special attachment, so I'll go ahead and reveal to everybody.
Please,
my actual legal name is not Rusty, obviously. I was originally named after Randy Travis because of the Forever and Ever Amen song.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to tell you which one's which one's my name, but we'll keep that part of mystery, at least for another season. And so my dad actually, when he went to go register my name, he had actually put Randy Travis on the paperwork.
Oh, wow.
And there's a cross out on my registration paperwork where they had crossed it out to put what my mom actually wanted my name to be.
Oh, okay.
Because it wasn't supposed to be the full
but
Randy
it's
Travis.
still named after that. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be one or the other.
His real name is RT.
RT, there you go.
Okay, so Randy Travis comes on the stage.
Wait, real quick, Mike, can I cut in for something?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fun fact, my father originally wanted to name me Clark Kent, but my mom
For
shut
real?
that down. Yes.
Oh no,
That would have been
they
fantastic,
robbed
though.
you. They
Yeah.
robbed you, man.
What was
Mom, I hate you.
what
Not really.
What was Superman's name on his plant? His
Dean
home planet?
Kane.
Kal-El.
Oh,
Kal-El.
Kal-El.
That's what I'm gonna.
I've
name
seen
my-
some Kal-Els.
I'm gonna name my next dog Kal-El.
Kal-El.
Yeah. Hopefully that makes him-
That's all you're going to hear from me today.
Well, hey man, anytime. But I know you got another recording.
Oh well,
coming
yeah.
up. Okay. Hey, I want to get a shout out to Andrew G, who is here. I'm assuming by now he's doing the Public Affair.
Yeah, the Public Affair podcast. Y'all make sure to go check that out.
Please check it out. Mostly on YouTube.
Yeah,
he does,
great
he does an
interviews.
audio version also, but
yeah, great interviews.
nominated for a couple awards this year.
Yeah.
Really proud to have him as part of the Rogue Media family. He is honestly, without him, I don't know that we'd be here.
Yeah, he's a really good
So
interviewer for sure. He does really good interviews.
Well, it's just the fact that he's stuck with us for 3 years at this point.
Sticking with
if not
anything
longer.
in this industry for longer than 6 months is a feat. So to do it for 3 years and to do it consistently for 3 years and to not miss and
he's done it
it's
now.
tough.
He's done it now on I think 4 different sets.
Yep.
That we've changed.
4 sets.
Anyway, yeah, go check out Andrew.
check
G
out Andrew
on the Public
G.
Affair. He does a lot of cool interviews. Anyway. Okay, so we are at Randy Travis coming on stage. Peggy in the audience. I'm surprised Randy Travis is still at the game stealing bases. Hank's like, oh, come on, Peggy. This is our vacation. Can't we just have a good time? She goes, look, you can have whatever kind of time you like. I'm going to sit here and boo. He goes, would a couple of beers help the situation? She just boo, boo.
Boo.
He goes, sure would help me. Like kind of under his breath.
Yeah.
Goes to get a couple of beers.
With
now,
the paper bag.
yeah, of course, with the paper bag. We're at the fairgrounds, and you've got Bobby and Luann kind of walking across the fairgrounds by the horses and stuff. First, you get Clint Black and Lisa. I guess that was his wife at the time, maybe.
Clint Black's wife,
Yeah.
Lisa Black.
I guess, yeah. Mrs. Black. And he goes, careful where you step, Lisa. They're kind of walking through where the horses are. He goes, that John Michael Montgomery's been riding that horse around here. And then she slips and slides in some poop.
Yeah.
She doesn't really fall in it, but she steps in it and
Like
slides
stumbles,
in it.
yeah.
She goes, Dad, gummit, John, Michael, Clint, I want a horse for my birthday. He goes, oh, you got it, honey. And they just kind of walk off screen.
Yeah.
Here comes Bobby and Luann walking through the same area. He goes, ideally, I would have gotten Brooks and Dunn matching fanfare water bottles, but I didn't have $40. This Brown Betty was priced to move. And he's walking, and he drops it. He drops it in the grass, and it looks like he drops it in the horse poop.
That's what it looked like.
Luann says, just shove it back in the pan. Nobody will know the difference. And then we transition over to Hank is in the beer line, which goes on and on and on forever, just like in any of these things you go to. And you hear this voice say, excuse me, partner, would you mind if I step in front of you? Hank turns around and goes, well, I've been waiting. Oh, my God, you're Charlie Daniels.
Yeah.
He goes, Mr. Daniels, I'm a huge fan. It'd be an honor to let you cut in front of me. He goes, well, I appreciate it. Why don't you let me get you something, too? What you drinking? He goes, oh, an Alamo, please. Let me, and he says, okay, well, let me have a Coke with no ice and an Alamo for my new friend here. And then he turns around and goes, that'll be $4, Slim.
Yeah, I like that. That's great.
That's what I'm saying. It makes Charlie Daniels seem like a real cheapskate.
Yeah. Well, $4 for a beer back then.
Oh, it was a good deal.
Hell
of a deal.
That was a good deal, but finding a $4 beer nowadays at any kind of festival or fair, you're paying like I've seen
12.
people, like $12, like for stadium beers at like football games and stuff like that.
It's like 16 to 20 ounces.
It's cheaper to smuggle in
and pay the fine if you
moleskin. No, I get it's just rubber.
Oh, okay.
And you just tuck it in, and it's got like a straw on it, and you could just tilt the straw and
bring a fake baby like you're breastfeeding.
Go buy you a $8 soda, but you just buy one soda and you just keep topping your soda off until what you do is you just keep topping the soda off as you're drinking it until you get to just nothing but liquor in the cup.
What I used to do
and then
is
you're done.
What I used to do is I'd bring in those little airplane bottles.
Oh yeah.
And then you just buy a Coke
and then you just buy your Coke and you're good. Yeah,
you're good all day. And those are a lot easier to slip in.
Yeah, I used to smuggle a keg in my back pocket, just stuff a big keg with ice.
Oh, sir, I'm sorry about your hunch.
Yeah, the Jinko jeans.
That's right.
I just had them stuffed
two of them in there.
I'd have a tap come out the top. We just tap the beer. Yeah.
No. That you can just hang a handicap placard around your neck or something, so you can explain away the tap.
It's a colostomy bag full of beer.
So he says that'd be $4, Slim. Now we're on stage. Peggy's still in the audience. She's still pissed. Randy Travis is up there, and he goes, thank you very much. Very kind. Hey, this next one's got a little story behind it. And he goes, when I was a kid, you see, I spent a lot of time in Montana. Cold winters up there. And
told her whole story.
And when I was about 9 or 10, my feet were growing just a little bit faster than the rest of me. She goes, what? I mean, she's saying this kind of to herself, but she's saying it out loud, Yeah. He goes, I mean, I had big feet. We're talking like bozo size, folks. So number one, he's made her feet these gigantic water ski type feet. Yeah. He goes, and when other kids would make fun of me, you see, my dad, who I might add was a substitute school teacher. She's just like, during this whole story, she's oh dear God. He goes, my dad told me, you tell him this is just the way God made me. And you hear all the people cheering. She goes, but that's my story. He goes, 2, 3, 4. I have a boggled trophy on my bedroom shelf. I mean, he took everything she said and just rolled it into a song. She goes, Hank. Now we're at the exhibit hall again. Bobby is talking to Brooks and Dunn once again.
Yep.
He says, so I called and Connie's dad answered. I disguised my voice and I said I was from Who's Who in American middle school students, and he put me right through, which that makes total sense with Con.
Yeah.
Brooks or Dunn says, that only works once, and thanks for the Brown Betty. And Luann says, thanks for Boot Scootin' Boogie. And
that's a good song.
I guess.
Boot Scootin' Boogie.
It's one of those that I got so sick of.
Yeah, it is one of those ones they play too much of.
God,
it's one of them songs that played a lot at bars for sure.
That, the Electric Slide.
Yeah.
Cotton Eye Joe.
You know what my favorite end of the night song was at the bar?
It's closing time.
No. A country bars. When I was a kid, my dad played in pool leagues. So I would be like 10, 11 years old in a bar till like 10 or 11, 12 o'clock at night sometimes. And when I was about 16, I started going to bars and shutting them down with my parents. It'd be like, on a weekend, on a Saturday, if they went out to the bar, I'd just go with them. And I fell in love with Gary Stewart's music. Because
drinking thing.
They would not even drinking thing. They would play at the end of the night. It would be Empty glass. An
Okay.
empty glass. My last
Isn't Gary
cigarette.
isn't Gary Stewart the one that did drinking thing? I got a
the drinking thing. I think
I
so.
think that's him.
And then he did the I'm drinking doubles while she's acting single.
I believe that's it.
I got it
Yeah,
reversed.
that may be
yeah.
Okay, quick story about that song. When I was going to technical college the first time, I met this guy in class who, funny enough, was the mascot, the coyote at the Spurs games for a little while when he lived in San Antonio. Huge Spurs fan here, and so that tripped me up right
you're
there.
A big Spurs fan.
And then, anyway, he was working at a bar there in that city, like in Lacey Lakeview. You know where Fridays is?
Fridays.
It's right there by where that barbecue
Hillbilly
place
Heaven.
Is. Yeah, whatever.
Used to
it's
be the
called
old
at this
Hillbilly
point.
Heaven.
Okay.
Yeah, it used to be because there was a couple
Wait.
of country bars that used to be there.
No. I'm talking about like
Yeah, the eatery.
Right.
It's like
Right
a
before
Cajun place. They got gator and fish stuff. It's like a
I don't know
seafood.
about that. Is that the one around the corner? So
Where are you talking
you know
about?
where Pilgrim's Pride is?
Yeah.
All right. So right before you get to it, you've got that big,
77.
Yeah, you've got that big
Right there.
corner store there.
Yeah.
Right next to it is a little bar.
Oh, Ashes.
Ashes. That's
Ashes.
right.
It's not there no
used to
more.
Be Fridays.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
it became
yeah.
Ashes.
And I know which one you're talking about for sure.
And the
I've never known it as Fridays. It was Ashes, and then now it's Dust.
Well,
Yeah, they tore it down. I don't know when, but it's
So,
not there no more for
I didn't
sure.
realize that.
Yeah, they tore it
It
down.
had
I
the
think
smallest little
the
dance floor I've ever seen in my life.
super small dance floor,
Yeah.
one pool table, super small dance floor. It's right there in that little industrial area. So I think what
Uh-huh.
ended up happening is whenever they remodeled that gas station,
Yeah, it's a whole corner.
I think they cleared that out and just put extended the parking
The
lot.
little things around the corner, though, still like the little Mexican restaurant place, right?
Papa Bears?
Yeah.
No, that's all gone.
Oh, that's gone too.
yeah. So
So originally,
that whole gas station got tore down
yeah,
and rebuilt,
But all of that
brand
got
new.
tore down at the same
well, because
time?
it had like a little strip mall beside it,
yeah.
and it wasn't really a strip mall. It was a building that was attached to the actual
yeah.
gas
But
station.
it looked like a little strip.
Yeah,
mall,
yeah. But they tore the whole
Oh, wow.
gas station, that attachment out. And apparently there's a development further up on 77, close to where Blue Bonnet is,
Yeah.
or that new development, the
Okay.
new housing development that's kind of
Okay.
off to the side right there. There's like a strip of land that's right there that says Papa Bear's coming soon.
Oh, really?
It's been sitting there for like 2 years.
So it used to be Mama and Papa B's barbecue.
Yeah.
Right around the corner there. And so if you think of I know this means nothing to anybody who's listening, but on the corner there was a little.
Is that the same Mama Papa B's that's over here on 16th?
I think it was a
Different one?
Yeah, so right there on the corner, it was a little gas station, and it was pretty run down.
Yeah.
But then around the corner was, like you say, that little restaurant, right? And it was a barbecue place at this time. On the other side was Ashes, which the reason they changed their name to Ashes was because TGI Friday came to town and then left, but they told them they couldn't be called Fridays.
Yeah.
So anyway, this guy I knew that I was going to school with, he was the bartender at Ashes. Or Fridays.
Yeah, Fridays.
And so he used to call me and tell me what was going to be out for free food that night.
Yeah.
You know, being poor or whatever, going to school and stuff like that, I would glom onto that. So all I had to do was come in and buy a couple of drinks, and I could eat all the food I wanted to. Right?
Oh, that's good.
It was
Yeah, that's a
usually-
deal.
Well, it was usually like cocktail wieners and barbecue sauce.
It don't
or
matter.
It didn't matter,
If
man.
you're
It was-
drunk and hungry,
it was free food.
Yeah, free food.
It's free food.
Especially if you got beer in you. Free food is king.
So I'd go in there and I'd see him and I'd eat food and I'd watch the older folks come in and dance and stuff. It's an old, it's a honky tonk. Right?
Yeah, it's a honky tonk for sure.
It's an old timer bar. So I'm sitting there one night, and this couple comes in, and I find out that they're the folks that run the barbecue place next door, and they've been there since like 5 a.m. or something, smoking brisket and all this stuff. So the guy had never heard anybody or seen anybody order this again, but him and his wife both sat down and they ordered gin and milk. That is super gross.
Is it like a Moscow Mule type thing?
It's just gin and milk, dude, and it came in a hurricane
Because
glass.
isn't a Moscow Mule have milk in it?
I don't think so.
It just looks like milk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
I thought it actually had milk in it. No.
But
okay.
anyway, they ordered these. They're sitting there, of course, sipping them. There's no way if you chug this thing, you're
Artie
throwing
will
up.
let me know if I'm wrong. He was a bartender. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's done bar work, so he definitely would know.
Tell Artie I went to bartending academy and
Oh.
graduated from there.
You did?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
did.
crazy.
I've done a lot of stuff. And so anyway, this couple comes in, older couple. They sit there and they're nursing their gin and milk. And the old man, he falls asleep at the bar, right? And so, I mean, he's like that kind of thing with his head down on the bar. And she's like, oh, don't mind him. You know, we've been up since 5 a.m. or whatever. And so I get ready to leave, and I come around, and I realize that they're parked behind me. Right, wherever I'm parked in the bar parking lot.
Yeah.
I just lived down the street. At the time I'm living in a house on the river, which was super cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Where at?
Where whatever that is. It runs into 19th. Up a little further.
Park Lake.
Yeah, it was way off in the distance over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking
right
about
by
because the river. That's where the river feeds out of the lake to go upstream to like downtown area.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway, I sneak up behind the guy and I'm like, "Hey, sir, I'm sorry, you're parked behind me. You know, I don't want to startle the guy." Yeah. I've never seen somebody move so fast. He goes, "Muh!" And he wakes up real quick, punches me square in the nuts. I'm like, oh, God.
You scared the shit out of him.
All I wanted you to do is move your car.
Scared the hell out of him.
Yeah, so that's my Friday/Ashes story. Okay, so we are at Luann telling them, thanks for the boot scooting boogie. He says either Brooks or Dunn. I think it's, what'd you say it is? Randy and Kicks?
Oh, no, Kicks and Brooks.
Kicks, no.
Brooks Dunn and
Brooks
Kicks Brooks. Kicks Brooks and Ronnie Dunn.
Kicks, Brooks, and Ronnie Dunn.
Ronnie Dunn,
okay,
there you go.
So Ronnie is the one who eats it.
Yeah.
He goes, all right, let's dig into the Apple Brown Betty. He goes, hey, get your own. The boy gave it to me. Kicks says, it was meant for both of us. Ronnie says, well, you keep that sweater that gal from Syracuse gave us. Well, how am I supposed to share a sweater, Kicks? You want me to rip it in half? This is good pie. He just takes a big old piece. And then you see him pick a piece of grass out of his mouth and kind of throw it on the ground. You get whatever you deserve at that point. If you're eating it and it's got grass in it and you just keep eating it, then.
Well, he's country as hell. So
but you get what you deserve at that point.
Yeah.
So now we're back in the stands at the concert. Hank is coming back in, and Peggy's still there, and she goes, Hank, where were you? Number one, he told you where he was going.
He told you exactly
didn't pay
where
attention.
he was at.
He goes, Travis told my story. He said that happened to him. He stole Boggle. He stole Montana. He stole my big feet. The guy in the audience turns around and goes, shh. And she's like, who said that? Who said that? I mean, she's pissed.
She's mad. Well, I mean, at this point.
I don't blame her at this point.
It does
honestly.
look very suspicious that.
Well, come to find out, it is pretty fucking suspicious.
It's super. So is it? See, this is the dilemma in this episode. Is it really a shitty Peggy episode when
I think
he
it's a combination of two
legitimately
shitty people meeting each other,
stole her shit,
yeah,
and then try to pass it off as his own? I think it's funny that Randy Travis, as a artist, agreed to be seen in this light. I think it's so
Charlie
funny.
Daniels said okay to it. Randy Travis.
But let's
said
keep
okay
in mind at this point in time, every guy that's on this is probably a raging alcoholic.
Well, probably.
So I imagine Randy Travis didn't even care. He was
I can't
probably
say that about Randy Travis.
You can. He was 3 sheets to the wind. He was the guy who was found butt naked on the side of the road.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, he
I didn't realize that.
he got a DUI one time. He had wrecked out in a ditch, and he was butt completely stark naked, laid out in the grass. Randy Travis, folks.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Randy Travis. So Hank's seen enough, and he goes, all right, let's go outside. That he kind of drags her outside, and she goes, I cannot believe you're siding with Travis. I am your wife. He goes, look, I believe you believe that you wrote that song, and I believe you believe he stole your story, but that doesn't make it true. She goes, so I'm a liar? And then there's a huge pregnant pause there.
Huge pause.
And she goes, why would I make this up, Hank? He goes,
you could birth twins out of the pause.
He
It
goes,
was
well,
such a big one. Yeah.
well, Peggy, you got a pretty high opinion of yourself. She goes, oh, then I should have a low opinion of myself? I hate having these kind of arguments.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Everything you say gets thrown right back in your face. She goes, is that what you're saying? He goes, no, not at all. It's just that you've done so much in your – this is him trying to build it back up, trying to dig out of that hole. He goes, it's just that you've done so much in your life. You don't need to take credit for things you haven't done, like writing that song and, other stuff. She goes, what other stuff? He goes, well, like dinner. I mean, I think it's cute that you call it spa, Peggy, and meatballs, but, it's just noodles and tomato sauce and balls of meat. She goes, but then I add the right amount of sugar and grated Parmigiano cheese. Well, shit, Peggy. Okay. He goes, okay, well, when we were setting up camp, you said that in your opinion, kindling is the best wood to start a fire. She goes, isn't it, Hank? He goes, well, of course it is, but it's not your opinion. It's a known fact. Because now you say Randy Travis is taking your childhood and calling it his own. It's getting crazy. She's just like, oh, so now I'm crazy.
You can't even say that word.
He goes,
can't even say that word.
And he goes, well, it's kind of a gray area. She goes, I told you the truth, Hank. If I am lying, may God strike me down right now. Nothing happens. She goes, ha!
Yeah,
like
she's
she
like,
got him on a technicality or something.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're in line for Travis Tritt. And we see you completely.
Some of these guys, I can't even, I know their music and I've listened to it 1,000 times, but I can't even think of a song they've written. That's how it is with a lot of that 90s and 2000s country, that late 80s.
It all kind of sounded the
I
same.
listened to it on that's my parents' 30s, so that was pretty much what was on the radio. That was their 20s and 30s was all this 80s and 90s country music, so it was pretty much what was drilled into my head.
So what I forget is that Bill, Dale, and Boomhauer are still there. We haven't seen them in a while.
No,
right?
We haven't. No.
So now there's a line for Travis Tritt, and Dale is in it. He's got a walkie-talkie, of course.
Yeah, they're doing some clandestine operation.
This is Mockingbird calling the Sparrow. You hear Dale go, hi, Dale. Or you hear Bill go, hi, Dale.
Hi, Dale.
He goes, use code names, Bill. I'm Mockingbird. He goes, oh, sorry, Bill. All right, sorry, Dale. he just told him what to do. Oh, hey, Penguin, where's the big bird? Because Peggy walks up. She goes, Hank and I are spending the rest of the fanfare apart because of Randy Travis. He took me back to his trailer and lied to my face, and I'd like to spit on that trailer.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you want to say to Dale, because he goes, oh, what would that solve? We ought to wrap the trailer in toilet paper. I think I have some left from the Billy Ray Cyrus job.
Yeah.
She goes, yes, I like that a lot. So now we're at the Brooks and Dunn booth. Hank is there, and he goes, all right, just one more, then I got to go find Peggy. He's taking pictures for Brooks and Dunn for other people standing there, okay, Hank, you're not smiling, Mr. Brooks. And then Brooks goes, huh? Like he starts puking. Right?
Yeah.
He's eating that
he ate that shit.
Brown Betty.
Actually, Artie gave me some kind of facts here about eating shit. Ooh. So
great.
And specifically horse shit, because that's the shit that's in this Brown Betty here. Mm-hmm. So the greatest risk with the exposure and ingestion of horse shit is that of a protozoan and or bacterial infection.
Sure.
It can give you chronic diseases. It can also give you abdominal pain, diarrhea, and it could dehydrate you during all these processes to the point of potential death.
So I'm going to go ahead and put this out there, kids. Don't eat shit.
Please do not eat shit. At least don't do it on my account.
So Brooks is throwing up. Now we're back at Randy Travis's trailer, and they are toilet paper in this thing. Peggy is on the walkie-talkie, and she goes, Mockingbird, this is Penguin or Pegwin. We are at 50% tissue coverage. Morale is high. How's Travis? And Dale says, contain.
Yeah,
I will secure an autograph made out to all of us. It'll be our alibi. Now, I'd like to point out something.
Oh, so she's got Dale in on it.
She's got Dale in on it.
And that's the guy you want in on something clandestine.
You do, but you don't.
You don't.
Because she goes, okay, Bill, throw it back over.
Which is weird. One of the things that he kind of, that Artie pointed out, and I kind of didn't really think about this until reading it now. You don't see Nancy or Joseph. Yeah. They're on a field trip all the way to Nashville, but his wife and his son, everybody else got their kids except for him.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of odd.
Well, I'm sure they want a break.
But he did bring walkie-talkies and binoculars.
That's
so.
Right. So she tells Bill to throw it back over. Bill goes, I did a minute ago. It should have landed by now. And she's just like, Boomhauer, give me a boost. You see Boomhauer running around. He's got a plunger in his hand because he's got the toilet paper on it, and it's just unraveling and unraveling. He gives her a boost, but Bill's climbing up on the other side. He goes, no, it's okay, I'll get it. They're both going. He goes, do you see it? And Bill falls. The trailer starts rolling. Peggy is now on top of the trailer, and she's, well, it never would have happened if it hadn't stole my song. And then she is able to get off. The trailer goes into the lake, and then you see in the back window, Randy Travis has woken up from his nap, and he's still in it. And he goes, Somebody help me. Get me out of here. Help me get out.
So Artie's notes don't get really extensive till the very end here,
Yep.
close to the end of the episode. So he went and did some research about the length of a time a person can survive trapped in a vehicle once
Yeah.
it's submerged. He said, well, the factors depend upon air supply within the vehicle, the temperature of the water, the individual's physical condition, and the ability to stay calm. The fact that he was panicking, fully submerged,
Sure.
and he appears to be in good health, though.
Sure.
It's summer weather. He said that everybody's wearing, so he could have lasted a while if he was calm.
That's a big-ass
but
vehicle, too.
surely less than an hour.
You know, that's a big-ass vehicle to have a lot of air in it. So, and like you say, it's summer, so I don't imagine
He's
the
cold.
water was super cold.
Yeah, it just would not be a fun experience. And I'd imagine at this point, he's only in his 30s or 40s. He could have,
Right.
busted out the door and swam up
This
out
is
of there.
when you need one of those things that breaks the glass.
Yeah.
You know?
Or there's screen doors on RVs.
That's
so,
true, too.
I mean,
You could have just opened
I
one.
think he could have just opened the door. Well, some people say though that whenever you're
But he
trapped in a
panics.
car, you can't open the door because of the
Well, it's
amount of
the pressure.
pressure from
Yeah.
the water. So
So we see Randy Travis going down with the ship, and that takes us to our second commercial break. We'll take that, and we'll be right back.
be right back.
All right, we are back. Randy Travis is going down with the ship.
Yeah, he's going down. There is no violins being played as he sinks to the bottom.
No,
though,
not at all.
unfortunately.
Not at all.
It would have been great if they would have had like Charlie Daniels just doing like Auld Lang Syne or something like that,
Isn't this
or
before,
taps.
This
or,
is before Titanic, though, right?
no, it's after. Titanic
it?
was 97.
Oof. Good Lord.
This is definitely after the Titanic movie. Definitely after the actual incident.
Well, I knew it was after the incident, but
I think
yeah.
that happened.
Which some people say never happened.
They say it was. My grandpa was actually born. I
It's
think
a
his
different ship.
I think my grandpa's birthday is like 2 days or a day after the Titanic sank.
Wow.
Like April something 1912.
You did have older grandparents, yeah.
I never met him. He was like 50, I think, when my dad was born. Like
Wow.
48, 49, 50, maybe 52 even.
Yeah.
I think somewhere in that frame.
Sure.
He was born in 1912. My dad was born in 1960, so that's 58,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is that 58?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so he might
I'm
have
gonna
been like
agree to
48, 48. I don't know. He was old man, yeah.
So we come back from the commercial. You've got Boomhauer, Bill, Dale, Peggy. They're kind of walking the fairgrounds because they're trying to get the hell away from this incident.
Yep.
So they literally just leave Randy Travis to die in this thing.
They're going to let him go down with this ship.
because Peggy says, remember, not one word. As I like to say, what's done is done.
Do you remember that song?
As she likes to say, as done is done. I mean,
yeah, it's done is done. You don't remember that pop song? We will go down with this
Oh, yeah,
ship
yeah,
or
yeah, I
something like
remember
that.
that.
I can't remember
Yeah,
how it goes, yeah.
And then Hank finds him and he goes, Peggy, where you been? And then Bill, of course, the first one with all bad information, says, we dumped Randy Travis's trailer in the lake. He goes, you what? He stole Peggy's song.
It was White Flag by Dido.
There
that
you
was
go.
the song.
Dido.
But I will go, yeah.
Dido. And then Dale is just kind of laughing. He goes, look at that handsome Randy Travis. I'd like to see his chiseled face when he goes back to that trailer. So Dale is over there with his binoculars watching the Randy Travis booth. And what Dale sees is the big-ass picture of Randy Travis in the booth rather than looking for the actual human.
Yeah, that's what
He doesn't notice that he's not breathing, he's not moving, he's not doing anything. He just
doesn't notice
assumes
that
that that's him.
Cardboard.
Hank says, where are you looking, Dale? Randy Travis's booth is empty. He goes, I got his autograph. It's our alibi. And then Peggy looks at the autograph and says, this says, best regards, the Oak Ridge Boys. and Dale says, you mean the one with the beard? There's like 4 of those guys. How does he think that's Randy Travis?
Oh, I don't
That's
know. It's a hard, stiff cardboard.
Now we see Randy Travis still kind of sinking. All of them are running out to the lake. And you can hear Randy Travis screaming, the door's locked, I can't get out. Hank kind of throws himself into action here. He goes, oh, God, please be okay. And he turns around, throws his glasses back at Peggy. He starts getting into the lake. Peggy is going, please be okay. Well, Peggy, you weren't saying that a while ago.
No, you weren't.
What's done is done. And then Dale says, why would he toilet paper and then drive his own trailer into the lake? Puzzling. And then he kind of runs off like he's giving himself an alibi. Basically.
Yeah.
Peggy says, oh, Hank, what's taking so long? Because Hank has already dove under the water. He's going to try to save Randy Travis.
He's doing it.
Yep.
He's doing a full swim.
And then Hank swims down to save him. He jimmies the door open. you know, the crowd is still there watching and stuff. He drags him out. What do you call that where you drag somebody out of a lake? Is that there's a name for that?
Is it a fireman pull?
I think it is a fireman pull. Yeah, something like
know.
that. And then Randy Travis gets to the shore.
Or a diver's elbow.
Something like that.
You give him the elbow.
Yeah, it's a diver's groin.
Yeah.
Randy Travis is out on the shore now. Hank sees him and he's like, "Oh, I was taking a nap. Trailer must have come off the blocks. Next year I'm gonna hire somebody to set it up." So Randy Travis set up his own damn trailer this time.
Oh, so he doesn't even know that he
doesn't know. And so Peggy looks at Hank and she goes, "Hank, I'm so sorry." Hank doesn't say a damn word. He takes his glasses and just walks the hell off. And
he's fuming.
Hank is pissed.
He's pissed because he
super
thinks
pissed.
that his wife did this intentionally.
His wife tried to kill Randy Travis.
And as crazy as his wife is, she's not going to intentionally try to kill nobody.
No, but she will walk away from it once it's been done.
Well, I was always taught that mind your own business. So
But
maybe
it was
she
her
was taught
business.
that.
She started it.
Well, yeah,
So,
you're right. You're
later-
right. No excuse, Peggy. She should have went and told the authorities or something.
He was very close to a murderer. Later in the church, at least manslaughter. Later in the church bus, Hank is sitting there talking to the pastor. He goes, "Peggy said it was an accident, but I don't know. She thinks Randy Travis stole her song lyrics, and maybe that sent her over the edge." The pastor kind of looks at him weird and he goes, "Hank, Reverend Schuler once delivered," and this is Robert Schuler. Right,
Robert
you remember
Schuler?
the name Robert Schuler?
No, I don't actually.
He was a big old minister, TV guy.
The ministers that I really remember is the Drake's guy. What's his name? He's a black guy. TJ Jakes. I think it's Jakes.
I think it is Jakes.
I remember him. I remember Bill and Gloria Gaither.
Yeah.
I remember
'Cause they had the
James
Gaither
Dobson.
family thing.
Yeah, the
James Dobson's family.
Faith with family or something. He was always the only reason why I remember him is 'cause
Don't F your family.
Yeah. Well, F is for friends or F is for family.
Right, sure.
I remember sitting and watching the morning news with my parents at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And getting ready for like school and stuff.
Sure.
And it would be the local news, obviously. And they would always have like a 2 or 3 minute segment. This is James
Really?
Dobson. It always have
my
like
God.
in the morning on Channel 10. They used to run James Dobson
Wow.
because he was syndicated nationally.
Yeah.
And it was
Still
generally
is.
he still is. And it was generally in the morning time where they would air his little, and they still air. I want to say they air his audio on 99.9 sometimes too.
Really?
On a
the
country station.
Yeah,
I
don't
swear
really
they
doubt
air it
that.
on there sometimes.
Yeah.
And they also air that. It really annoys. It's kind of funny sometimes, but not all the time. That hey everybody, this is such and such America. Like that guy. You know what I'm talking about? That little comedy thing they do or
Yeah.
whatever.
You know, that used to be Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh, he used to do
that
that.
did that thing. Yeah, he used to do it on he would call these syndicated radio shows. That's how he kind of got started.
I think that the best one to ever do
I remember
it.
being a kid and hearing him.
Best one to ever do is those boys out of Tulsa, Oklahoma with Roy D. Mercer.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
the
that was a big deal.
best radio
Yeah,
gag
that was a big deal.
ever. Huge.
So let's see. Where are we? Randy is out. Hank is pissed. Hank's now in the bus talking to the pastor. The pastor says, "Hank, Reverend Schuler once delivered a sermon that came straight from my Christmas card, but I didn't throw a rock through the Crystal Cathedral." Hank says, "Well, I might have made things worse. I said some awful things to her, Pastor Larry. I told her she's not as great as she thinks she is." And the pastor says, "Better she hears it from someone she loves." Hank says, "Maybe she did try to drown Randy Travis." No, what am I saying? She'd have to be crazy. But maybe the fact that her husband doesn't support her and couldn't have. No, Peggy's not that crazy. He goes, "Right?" And then there's a huge pregnant pause with the guy looking at him. Now we're in the hospital room with Brooks and Dunn, and for some reason, Bobby.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why a child who has met them once is now in the hospital room with them. But one of them's in the bed. I'm assuming it's Ronnie that's in the bed. He goes, "So, Doc, in your opinion, had he shared some?" This is Kicks talking. "In your opinion, had he shared some of the Brown Betty, would he have gotten quite this sick?" And the other one says, "Ronnie, please, I'm very ill." He goes, "What was in that Brown Betty anyway?" And Bobby, of course, is like, I don't know. My mom made it." I mean, he threw his mom under the bus super quick. Now,
Yeah, he did. He was quick to throw under the bus.
And now
for sure.
we're back at the camp.
Well, you know, she gets thrown under the bus, and she throws
would throw Bobby
Randy
under the
Travis's bus into the lake.
She would throw Bobby under the bus
Yeah.
quick.
Oh, she has.
Oh,
and she
100
has.
times, yeah.
Feeding your kids cigarettes, it's almost like throwing them underneath the bus. I'm sure there's other incidents. I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
So we're back at the campground now. Peggy is just, you can see she's distraught because she's sitting at one of the picnic tables just down in Alamos. She's just throwing them back. Luann comes up and goes, Aunt Peggy, what are you doing here? Randy Travis is going to bring Uncle Hank up on stage any minute to thank him for saving his life. Peggy says, well, Hank doesn't want me anywhere near the Final Jam concert. He said he was afraid I'd take a swing at Faith Hill for stealing our last name, which is probably not that far off. Now we're on stage, and you see somebody saying, one more time for Martina McBride. And then you hear Martina say, thank you. This next act has been featured on the cover of 20 million boxes of cornflakes. Ladies and gentlemen, Dunn. Just Dunn. Not Brooks, but just Dunn.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Hank Hill is behind. He's backstage, and he's talking to Wynonna Judd. And he goes, to Hank Hill, love Wynonna. Thank you. I'm going to have to hang this in my garage. Now you'll think about what I said? And Wynonna goes, I was raised with charcoal. I'll die with charcoal, so back off.
Yeah.
And then a state trooper walks up, and he goes, Mr. Hill, I'm Trooper Larson with the Tennessee State Police. We received a tip that your wife, Peggy Hill, might try to harm Mr. Randy Travis. Hank goes, a tip? Who told you that? The pastor walks up and goes, I did. He goes, what? You can't do that. He goes, I'm sorry, Hank. Your wife's nuts. She's a threat to others. He goes, we don't know that. So he didn't address the nuts part. He just addressed that she might not be a threat. We're back on stage, and Dunn is up there saying, nobody can really replace Kick Brooks, but would y'all mind if Randy Travis gave it a try? You hear a big cheer. Now, again, you're in the backstage. Trooper's talking to Hank. He goes, Mr. Hill, do you know where your wife is? And then Hank kind of looks over. He goes, do you see something, sir? And then the pastor looks over, and he goes, there she is. That's Peggy Hill. And the trooper's like, Mrs. Hill. And then Hank's like, oh, no, because he knows how this is going to turn out. He goes, he runs up to Peggy, who is now surrounded by 3 or 4 troopers. He goes, Peggy, I thought we agreed you weren't going to come to the Final Jam concert. She goes, I'm here to see Randy Travis. I have something special to give him. And she's carrying something like a casserole dish that's covered in tin foil, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And the trooper says, ma'am, I'd like you to come down to the police tent with me. She goes, well, wait, I'm here to apologize. Look, I brought him an apple brown Betty, homemade. Hank goes, all right, you see that? It's just a pie, no knife even, which I think is a lovely. That's a
lovely
joke.
one for
that's
sure.
That's a great joke.
Yeah.
And the trooper says, apple brown Betty. Kix Brooks was poisoned by a homemade apple brown Betty, fitting that description. Hank goes, Peggy, what did you do?
No, for sure.
Just killing all these people.
Killing everybody.
The trooper goes, this is Larson. I'm going to need some backup. He's talking into his little thing there.
I'm going to need some backup. Yeah, for Peggy.
He's talking into his what do you call that? The little thing that's on his shoulder, the communicator thing. That's not a PA. That's a little radio. What? A radio, I guess.
I'm talking about for the cops.
Yeah.
That's like a...
it's a radio.
It's like a C, well, not a CB, but
it's almost
just
like
a radio.
CB.
It's
yeah.
like a CB.
It's like a closed channel radio.
Yeah.
And from that, he goes, I'm going to need backup. And then you hear Dale's voice come over, and he goes, this is Mockingbird. Who's Larson?
Yeah.
He's questioning the guy. And then one of the troopers says, ma'am, place the baked goods on the table and take a step back, please. Hank steps back, and Peggy looks at him and goes, why are you looking at me like that? Randy Travis stole my song, but I am not going to kill him. I'm not crazy. Hank says, well, yeah, Peggy. I mean, Peggy goes, tell him, Hank, tell him. And then the trooper starts trying to lead her away, and he goes, let's go. You and your brown Betty are coming down to the station. Hank can't really abide this, and he knows that she's better than this. And he goes, wait. She's not crazy. I'll just take her home. And the trooper says, no, we have to test the pie. Hank says, what if I eat a piece of this brown Betty and I'm okay? That'll prove my wife's telling the truth, right?
It's the right brown Betty,
That's
though.
not the way this shit works.
No, it's not the way it works. But if you're willing to eat shit to exonerate your wife, I'll watch. That's
God.
The thing is, as a police officer, if I knew it had shit in it and he's willing to eat it to exonerate his wife,
yeah,
I'll. The only way is you eat the whole rest of that pie, sir,
right.
and you're good to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Peggy responds to this, Hank, don't do it. It's for Randy Travis. She just kind of shakes her head at him. Hank looks at the trooper. The trooper looks at Hank. The trooper says, Mr. Hill, don't. There's already one man in the hospital. He does it anyway because Hank believes in his wife. He loves her still, no matter what she does. He takes a big bite, and he goes, now that's a good piece of pie. I'll tell you what, they ought to change the name to Apple Brown Peggy. Peggy realizes that Hank still loves her, realizes that their argument's over and that Hank took one for the team here. And she goes, no, it's an apple brown Betty. I just had a spoonful of orange juice. Well, nobody else does that because she can't even get through that without saying that I'm better than everybody else. They hug, and I just wrote down, all is okay now with a bunch of question marks. Because everything's fine. And now you see Randy Travis on stage, and this is how it goes out. And this is when we learn that Randy Travis truly is a dick in this show.
Yeah, he is. He's very dickish for this.
And now I'd like to introduce y'all to Hank Hill, a man who taught me just how precious life is. You see, yesterday my trailer fell in the lake, and just as I was freeing myself, number one, that didn't happen, I saw this loyal fan drowning in the water nearby. Did not happen. And I saved his life. Did not happen. I want to bring him up to sing with me. Come on up here, Hank. Hank comes up, and he goes, he's in the back talking to Peggy, and he goes, well, I'll punch him this time.
Yeah.
and Peggy's like, no, what's the use? I mean, that's it. That's the
it.
whole damn
Yeah.
thing.
That's it.
Yeah, and then during the credits, you get Randy Travis singing, and you get a kind of a slideshow of all the celebrities that were on, and he goes, I have a Boggle trophy on my bedroom shelf. I won it with my own, with help from no one else. Still, I know I'm not perfect. I have a flaw or two, but there's plenty of love for you.
Yep.
And that's
it,
it, man. That's it. We are done with season 4.
That is season 4, you guys.
Holy
Episode 4.
Lord in heaven.
So I was typing here in the last bit because I was looking up something that Artie had sent me. I wanted to make sure that it was everything that I wanted to say at the end. Okay,
Sure.
So I'm going to give you guys a little history on the Apple Betty. So,
Apple Brown Becky.
According to the Oxford Companion to Food, one of the earliest references to the dish dates back to 1864, where it was mentioned in an article in the Yale Literary Magazine. There is speculation to how the Brown Betty got its name. In the Yale article, the B in Brown is not capitalized, but the B in Betty is, which led some people to believe that Betty is the name of the cook, creator of the recipe, and that Brown was in reference to her color skin.
Oh.
In the original, I don't know how to say this. I never have known how to say it, but it's like a Creole word, Picayune. Picayune Creole cookbook. A recipe identical to the Brown Betty traveled under the name Mulatto's Pudding, furthering the idea that the sweet-sounding Brown Betty was more a race-based epithet towards its maker than a homey moniker denoting golden brown breadcrumbs.
Yeah, mulattoes, what they used to call people that were like half and half.
Yeah, and
that's a terrible word.
And then actually there was a rapper that came out with that name, and the industry made her change her name.
Really?
Just to, it was mulatto is what she would rap underneath.
Well, she's trying to
whenever she got picked up,
yeah.
she became Lotto.
Oh, really?
She just dropped the MU.
Lotto or Lido?
Lotto, Latto. She just dropped the MU or whatever.
Well, that's terrible. I did not know that about Apple Brown Betty. I will now start just calling it Apple Betty.
Apple Betty. Apple Betty.
Just happens to be brown. All right, guys. Well, thank you for holding out with us for 4 whole seasons.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So that's season 4. The next episode you get from us will not be season 5, episode 1. It'll be just a recap. We're going to just do a recap episode for next time.
Yeah, we'll talk about everything up until this point.
Talk about how we feel about it, how we feel about the show, how we feel about the future of the show and where we're going from here. But yeah, thank you for sticking with us for 4 seasons. That's crazy. Anybody that's heard every episode from 4 seasons,
oh man,
thank you.
We love you.
We appreciate you.
I saw this. Well, we'll talk about it on Friday. But I saw that this week there was a thing that came out. They said that they're recasting Khan.
And I got an email to talk about too that made me
show.
laugh my ass off.
Really?
Yeah. I think I forgot to send it to you. I meant to forward it to you if I didn't.
Yeah.
I'll forward it to you now. Before we record the next episode. See episode for Friday.
Yeah, you'll see us. You'll see us again on Friday. You want to tell us where they can find us?
Yeah, you can find us at bwaaakoth.com, or you could go over to youtube.com/bwaaakoth. And you can also email me at bwaaakoth@gmail.com.
There you go. Send us an email. Let us know what we've done and what we need to do.
Yeah, send us emails. One of the emails that I'm not really a fan of, though, and I'll just go ahead and say it, it's cool for suggestions and stuff like that, but please don't tell us how to run the show. Kind of like, it's cool to suggest different things, but
I don't mind that.
I don't really like it. It's like, start your own show if that's how you want to do it.
I saw that one, and I'm okay with it. I mean,
I don't mind it. I like the emails, but I don't know.
But honestly, it's just a fan telling us what they like and what they don't like, and that's okay with me. I don't mind. We appreciate any kind of correspondence we get from you guys. And
For sure.
Thank you all again for being here, and we will see you on Friday.
Oui, Matanye.
Oui, Matanye, indeed. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.